Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour, your source for all hard rock, heavy metal, new metal, alternative, punk, horror punk, hardcore, rock, and all local bands, with your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bodfather.
Hey, this is Justin from BRKN Love, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
The views and opinions of the guests do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of BODS Mayhem Radio Network, its staff, affiliates, or sponsors. Parental discretion is advised. Welcome to BODS Mayhem Radio Network.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bodfather, and as always, I'm bringing you guys and gals awesome interviews. Today, it's an honor and a huge privilege to welcome Mr. Justin Benlolo, vocalist and guitarist of BRKN Love. BRKN Love is set to release their debut self-titled album February 14th. Yes, on Valentine's Day via Spine Farm Records. Also, check out BRKN Love lyrics video single for Flies in the Honey. You want to check that out right now. Good stuff from this band. So, Justin, welcome to the show, and how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Doing awesome. So let's jump right into this. How's it been working with Spine Farm Records so far for you guys?
It's been going great with those guys. It's been great. We've been signed for about a year, and they've been doing a lot of good things for us. You know, everything's moving pretty quickly, pretty swiftly. So we got no complaints on my end.
So you're originally from Toronto, Canada. You dropped out of school at the age of 16 to pursue your dream of playing music. You come to New York in 2014, and then everything turned around right about at the age of 18. How difficult was all this, and what was the turning point that happened to make everything right finally?
You know, it's sort of hard to pinpoint the exact moment that everything just started to make sense, but I would say that one of the defining moments was actually deciding to just get up and out of LA, you know, and go back home. Because that definitely put the pressure back on me, you know, just sort of realizing that whole dream was over at the time, you know. I mean, I was out there and I had to let go of my band that I was with out there, and, you know, sort of say goodbye to all the music that I made out there and just try something new, or you know, fall down flat on my face. Like, I didn't know what was going to happen. And I would say that just getting up and coming home was a big moment, just because at that point, it was either I keep working and I keep striving to be where I'm at now, or I just like give up and go back to school. Obviously, I chose, you know, the latter, but that was definitely a pretty defining moment in my life.
What's impressed or excited you the most about making the debut self-titled album, if anything, Justin? What sticks out the most about it for you, if anything, possibly?
You know, I really love the sound of the record. I'm really happy with the way the production sort of came out. You know, because that was sort of the issue going into it when we were looking for people to make this record. There's a lot of big-time producers. I mean, if we were going for heavy hitters, too, which is what we ended up doing. And most of the guys that are on top right now making big rock records make a very particular sounding type of record. And usually they're characterized by being pretty clean and slick and pretty polished, and that's not what we were trying to do. So it was really great when I met Joelle. And we sort of our alignment was pretty great from day one, and we were never really butting heads about the sound or whatever. You know, we were sort of in tune with it, with exactly how everything, you know, should sound basically from day one. And he actually like pulled it off. You know, there's a lot of people that could say like, oh yeah, I could make fuzz guitars sound great. You know, I worked with like 3 or 4 producers prior that like hated fuzz. You know, they hated the way it sounded. They hated how uncontrollable it was. And these are like big time guys. I'm not going to name any names here, but like, you know, it's just hard finding the right people. And I think anything is possible if you have the right team. And it seems that we found it. So I was really, really happy with that process and the way the record came out really in the end.
So working with Joel, did he push you guys while working with him on this album? Did he push you guys to get something that maybe somebody else couldn't have got?
You know, actually quite the opposite. I would say what was very unique about his approach was that he sort of took a step back and got out of our way. You know, a lot of producers try to sort of, or at least old school producers, try to break the artist. They try to sort of make it an emotionally exhausting experience and sort of like get the get the performances out of the pain you're experiencing, whatever it is, you know, some old school tactics that like don't really work so much anymore. And, you know, I've been through a process like that prior to working with Joel, and that experience sort of just left me unmotivated and unwilling to just become better, you know. And with Joel, he sort of facilitated what we did as a band and facilitated my playing and singing and all that kind of stuff. It made me feel very good and comfortable with it, and never belittled anything I did, and essentially just captured what I normally do all the time in a unique way. And I was really grateful for that experience. It was actually the easiest record I'd ever made, just because of how, I would say, just uncomplicated he is to work with.
Writing these new songs, does it challenge or push you? Does it show your versatility of your songwriting, Justin?
I would say so, yeah, for sure. I think that the record has a good has a good array of different sort of subgenres of rock. You know, what I think is very cool is that between just our first single, Shot Down, up until, you know, our last single, Flies in the Honey, I think that all 4 songs we released all kind of have uniquely different sounds. You know, they sort of have similarities here and there, but to me, they're not, you know, shot down 4 times. It's not the same riff rocking thing every single time, and that was done on purpose. You know, I didn't want to be a one-trick pony kind of band, and I think presenting the album in this way sort of gives us the option to go in a lot of different places on the next record if we want to. You know, I didn't want to be confined into a box and just do that one thing. And also because, you know, it's not fun to do it that way. It's a lot more fun to have some variety, and it keeps things interesting for all of us.
Were there any songs that didn't make this album that we could see down the line on an EP or a full length possibly?
Oh my God, dude! If I could tell you how many songs didn't make this record, we would be here all day. I think there was something like 80 songs written for this record or something. It was something absurd. So yeah, there's plenty in the vault that have just never seen the light of day. That, you know, I was sort of like the person that if they didn't make the record, you'll probably never hear them, because obviously they weren't good enough for me to like want to do anything with them. So I mean, I guess, you know, you could take some things and rework them, or maybe take like a verse from a song and turning it into a whole new song. But yeah, as of right now, I don't think any of those songs are going to go anywhere. But there was plenty that didn't make it.
Any tracks standing out more to you than any right now on this album? I don't much change every time you listen to it or when you talk about it. I know these are your babies, but do you have any that stand out for you, Justin?
I think my favorite song on the record is In Your Hands, which is the last track on the record. That one always just makes me feel really good, and I'm really proud of that one every single time I hear it. It's one of the only songs on the record that I consistently hear and don't want to change anything on, so I'm really proud of that one. I love Flies in the Honey. I really love that song. That was my favorite song from the get-go, and then it sort of shifted to In Your Hands. You know, I mean, just between those two, I love Paper Cuts. I mean, I love them all, of course, but I would say In Your Hands and Flies in the Honey are probably my 2 favorite, and also because playing them live is a blast. We definitely do some fun things with those songs live, and they sort of have a life of their own on stage. But of course, I love them all. You know, they're all very near and dear to my heart. But those 2 have a even specialer place in my heart.
Was it hard to choose between these current set of songs? Which one would be the first single you guys wanted to release for the album?
Yeah, I mean, thankfully I have a great team. And, of course, it doesn't always fall on me to come up with those big decisions. So, you know, what's funny is that the first single, Shot Down, was actually a song that I never thought would be a single ever. You know, I didn't really think it was a very strong song. I didn't think it was like anything like great in particular. I thought it was going to be a deep cut. You know, I didn't really like it that much. So it was interesting to me that when we had finished the record, to have everybody hear, you know, what we had done, and pretty much like 90% of the time point the finger at that song and say that's the one we're going to go with first. And not only to my surprise, it was to like everybody that worked on the record's surprise. We were all like, there's no way, you know, there's no way that's the song. And of course, like after the record was done and I like listened to everything again, it became like one of my favorite songs. But that just shows how perspectives could change, you know, in an instant. And also just having everybody love the song too. Like, you know, I'm one of those people that like kind of thinks all my songs suck until somebody tells me it's good. So once I sort of got the reassurance that that song was good, I started thinking it was good too. But you know, after that, I would say that the next singles were pretty mutually agreed upon. I think everybody agreed that Paper Cuts, I Can't Lie, and Flies were going to be the next appropriate singles. It was just, in particular, with Shot Down that I was shocked, you know, that was going to be the song. And let alone, you know, like killing so hard right now. So it was pretty surprising.
What do you hope everyone takes away, or a message you hope they hear while listening to any of Broken Love's music in general? What do you hope they get from it?
I hope they get excited, you know, and I hope they get excited with the new state of rock and what's happening now with young bands. You know, I mean, we're really just trying to start a fire in young people to just go out there and play, you know, pick up a guitar and hang out with some of your friends and write some songs and put a band together. Just get inspired. It seems to be a lack of that happening these days, and kids would rather pick up their, you know, whatever, the turntables or whatever the hell they do these days. You know, I sound like an old man, of course, but you know, I think what I want people to be is excited, and I want them to see that there's still bands of young kids that could still rock and are still doing it, and I hope, you know, they think we're doing it well. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Being a young band, do you like how everything is now with the music industry? I know streaming and MP3s and things like that versus, say, like back in like early 90s. Do you like this the way it is now, or no?
Well, I mean, I guess I it's kind of biased because I wasn't around in the old days of the music industry. I didn't know what it was like to not have something streamed, or, you know, not have to be on like Instagram or something like that. So I guess I can't really speak on that. But if I could just speak theoretically, you know, I don't love the whole social media aspect of what we have to do now, you know, and how people sort of look at numbers before they consider us a valid rock band. It's almost like we're sort of like verified based upon how many followers we have on social media and all that kind of stuff. And if that actually, you know, makes us a legitimate rock band, people actually take us seriously, is sort of based upon how many people like your posts or whatever, or follow your page. It's like, I understand that that's what we have to do, and I understand that that's what kids do nowadays, and it's just an important part of the business now, because you know, the radio isn't the only format anymore, and people, you know, aren't selling CDs like they used to. People aren't selling vinyls like they used to. So I understand there's a lot of other ways we have to get around it and create, you know, metrics and numbers and stuff. But it is sort of exhausting to have to do that kind of stuff. I think that one of the main things that bothers me with it is it makes people feel too close to the artist that they like. And I think that takes away from the sort of mythical nature that we used to have about the artists that rule the world. You know, I think the coolest thing about Led Zeppelin is that you didn't know what Robert Plant ate for breakfast, you know, or what his dog looked like. You know, it's like, it's ridiculous now, like the extent of the things we have to do. I think what's so cool about Pink Floyd is that nobody knew what they looked like. You know, it was like, you knew the album cover, you knew the music, and that was it. If you saw a show, that was the closest you were ever going to get to them. And it sort of created these larger-than-life figures that it's just not possible to do that anymore, unless you get off social media and you know, sort of have another medium to populate you and, you know, put you in front of the masses. You know, but that's sort of like a pop thing. If you're not a pop artist, you're not really getting mass exposure on that level, you know, through just like TV and radio. Because those guys still kill it on the radio, you know, and they get spun thousands of times a week. But for rock and other genres, we're more reliant on other things, I would say, and more so playing shows and all that kind of stuff. But I just don't like how personal it's gotten. And if I didn't have to do it, I absolutely wouldn't.
Oh, yeah.
But I have to. And I'm not really too fond of social media in the first place. I was never really a big, you know, Instagrammer or like, I don't like Twitter at all. I still don't like Twitter. I have to use it, but I hate it with my heart of hearts. It just feels like nonsense to me, and I have to do it now. But it's just the to me, it's the poison of the world.
Oh yeah, I agree.
But it's a necessary evil. So it's what we got to do, and the business has changed, so we got to change with it.
I agree 1,000% with you, and plus me being a podcaster, plus doing my online radio stuff, and it's like when I reach out to get an interview, if I don't have so many likes or reaches or anything like views or anything like that, I don't get the interview, and I'm like going, I've been doing this for 9 years, I've got over 3,000 interviews, under my belt. Come on,
Yeah, exactly.
That really bothers me because I see some interviews, and I'm just going ahead and say it. I don't care. This is how I feel about it. I see some folks out there getting these big interviews. They have no clue what the fucking band does. They don't know anything about them whatsoever.
Right.
And I'm going,
no, it's true.
It's like, I don't care what they have for breakfast. Like you said, I don't care if they have peanut butter on their bologna or crackers or whatever. I don't care. Just,
right.
How do you do that? It frustrates me, and I feel your pain. Trust me.
Yeah, there's no actual, people don't care. The journalists don't care as much, Yeah.
In your own opinion, man, and I know no one's reinventing the wheel, what does Broken Love bring to that table for music that's not out there as of right now? What are you guys adding to that wheel?
I think what's different as opposed to a lot of other rock bands in this modern rock climate is that we're more raw, we're more unhinged, we're more organic, we're more stripped down, sort of to the roots of what rock and roll is all about. We're not covering our mistakes up with tracks or overproducing the records, with a million guitar tracks or whatever, and tuning our vocals. It's like everything is how it should be. And I think we take things back to what people originally loved about rock and roll music. And we're just trying to bring it back to its roots.
What can fans expect at a show from Broken Love who have not got to see you guys live as of yet? What are they going to get when they come to see you all?
Oh my God! Absolute pandemonium. It's high energy. It's pretty wild, and we change a lot of stuff up live. We do a little bit of jamming. We rearrange some tunes. It's definitely a fun show, and we try to leave it all on the stage every night.
What made you want to become a musician, Justin? What was that spark for you, if you can recall? What was it said? Yeah, I want to do this.
It was sort of a combination of my uncle. He was a great guitar player, musician himself, who was always around growing up. And he was also, in a band and playing with a bunch of guys. So he really inspired me to be a musician. And also just watching a lot of bands when I was younger, specifically when I was really into Kiss. I was about 8 or 9 years old. They were like the first band that really did anything for and to me, watching those guys perform. And, my uncle used to have the old VHS tapes of like Kiss Alive and like all the Kissology stuff, and just watching them perform was like insane because they were like superheroes to me. And being young and impressionable, it was just completely unreal just to see people do that. And I just caught the bug. I don't know what it was. Like by the time I was 8 or 9, I was like obsessed with rock and just obsessed with guitars and singing and all that kind of stuff. So I would say it was between my uncle and the band Kiss that really made me want to be a musician.
Okay, so there's a lot of speculation that there could be Kiss without Gene and Paul. What's your thoughts on that? Yeah, what's your thoughts on that? And plus a Kiss Alive 5.
Whoa, no. That is just not right. I understand we already got rid of Ace and Peter. It's like, how can you get rid of the other guy? That can't be true. That's ridiculous. There's no way. I wouldn't, of course I'd have to like listen to it. I wouldn't go see it, but that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear that nonsense. Yeah.
See, that's just like me with Metallica. I love Metallica, but they say, hey, Lars will still want to play without James and Kirk and Robert. I'm like, no.
Yeah, like what is that?
Yeah. It's Larsica.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I don't want to see, Kiss without Gene and Paul, it's like, that's what has made it still Kiss up until this point. So, if they can't leave the band, there's no Kiss. Might as well call it something else.
Exactly. Thank you. Finally.
Yeah.
Is there a country that stands out or shocks you that Broken Love gets support from so far? Have you seen anything out there that's kind of like shocked you that you get support from?
We get a lot of support from Germany, which is pretty crazy. Germany and like France. And I never thought, we'd have any sort of following over there. Of course, I could check my metrics and stuff for like streaming and all that stuff. But even lately, I've been getting interviews in Germany, which is crazy. Like I never expected it to reach that side of the world, this soon. Mm-hmm. I thought, you know, we'd at least still be like working in the States and Canada for a couple more years. I didn't think, you know, France and Germany were gonna like hop on, you know. And I have this dude from Spain that always reaches out to me. That's pretty wild, and a couple people in Mexico, which is really cool. It's just, you know, it's nuts to see, like, at the end of the year when Spotify does that like roundup thing, how many countries people have listened to your songs, and it was like something like 78 or 79, and I just couldn't believe that.
Wow, that's awesome. And not even being signed at that time, am I correct on that? And then plus being able to reach out that far, that's pretty fucking amazing, dude.
Yeah, for real. It's pretty amazing, for sure.
I know you probably had a lot of go-to albums when you were a kid coming up and everything, but did you have just that one specific album or song when you were younger that you could just listen to and it just allowed you to escape and let everything be better?
Oh wow, that's a really good question. You know, in high school, my go-to song was "Mayonnaise" by Smashing Pumpkins. That was like my feel-good song. It was also like my feel-sad song.
Yeah.
It was like the song that made me feel really good if I wanted it to, but also if I wanted to just like cry for like an hour, that could do that too. I think that song is like the most plays in my iTunes library. It's like 5,000 something. It's like a ridiculous number.
It's a good song.
Like I used to listen to it on repeat in high school.
Nothing wrong with that, man. That's
that
a great
whole record.
Song.
No, I mean it was just that song really impacted me. I love that tune. I still love that tune.
What would you say to them if you got to meet them personally, just because of that song?
Oh man, I mean, I love Billy, you know, and I've seen the Pumpkins like 3 times. It's hard to sort of. I mean, I feel like he'd appreciate stuff like that. I would tell him that he definitely inspired me to buy my first fuzz pedal. You know, I bought a Big Muff because of the Smashing Pumpkins, and that's definitely like taken me down this long road of gear, or of like tone chasing, I guess you could say. Mm-hmm. And his band sort of started my obsession with like fuzz pedals, and I have like way too many, just because the sound of that record was like so amazing to me. I never heard guitars like sound like that before. And, you know, and also his songs and the lyrics and stuff just really like helped me through a lot of stuff. So, you know, I express a couple of those things to the guy.
Like I've always said, man, music is the voice of all languages. I mean, it breaks all barriers. It doesn't care what color your skin is. It doesn't care, you know, what you're going through. It's there to speak and be your voice and then help you. So thank God for it.
Absolutely,
that's for
man.
Sure.
100%, man. Music is the one true universal language that we can all speak.
Yep.
You know, the only true magic in the world that we really know.
Folks, BRKN Love is set to release their debut self-titled album February 14th on Valentine's Day via Spine Farm Records. You want to get out and pick this album up, support this band, not just because I say so, but just listen to me when I say they are a great, great band. They got some great, great music, and I hopefully expect some good stuff down the road from this band. So, Justin, how can folks stay in touch with you guys, buy this album, all the merchandise, tour dates, everything? How can they do that?
You can just check us out on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. It's just BRKN Love Music all across the board. Our website, BRKNLove.com. You can just catch everything over there. And if you ever send us a message, you're talking directly to me. So, and I pretty much answer everybody.
And before I let you go, Justin, would you care to do a promo for the show?
Absolutely. Hey, this is Justin from BRKN Love, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody stick around. We got some great, great stuff coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and BODS Mayhem Radio Network. Please get out and check out our Facebook page. It has our new podcast link and also our YouTube link. You want to get out and subscribe to our YouTube link because anything and everything that we do goes up on there, plus our podcast link. Also, catch us on Spotify and also Apple Podcasts. We're all over the place, and hopefully soon on iHeartRadio. Also, please get out and check out BRKN Love. Support this band. Give them a fair chance. Justin, I wish you guys nothing but the best of luck on down the road, my friend.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you for having me.
BODS Mayhem Hour.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.